Hey, what's going on, guys? Againzi here. I'm very happy to start getting more and more feedbacks from those of you guys who's actually following my Bitboard CHESS ENGINE C tutorial series here on Chess Programming channel. It's really inspiring, and that's the exact reason why I'm actually doing all of these videos, just to make chess programming easier for you guys to kickstart with. And today in particular, I'll try to help one of my subscribers to fix some issues in his code. Well, at least that's the exact request I was getting in the commentaries. But I really hope that at the same time I will be able to provide a couple of useful hints for, of the general character. So you kind of probably, I hope that some sort of the hints might be useful for those of you who are just about to kickstart with your own chess engine development. So without further ado, let's actually go to the commentaries part and see what we got here. So eventually this guy TR1PDY had a couple of minor errors with bit specific stuff, but later on yeah, so here the issue definition starts. So he says can you help me with this code? So he did come up with some sort of a code, and here is, it seems like, the link to his code. Okay, so can you help me with this code? The problem is somewhere in the Nigamax function I only have a search in single pawn pushes at the moment in order to get some basic search up and running. Okay, so something that something that you might often encounter in Stack Overflow answers. Like it quite often happens that a guy asks the question, like he says, "I have a problem here," but it turns out that he has a problem in a completely different place. So I'm telling this because I had a quick look at the source code already, and that's the first thing that came into my mind, basically. And from this sort of a request, I didn't really understand much what's kind of going on there. So I asked him, so what particular doesn't work properly? And he says, when I run, it doesn't go through all positions. It only goes through 12 or so. Then after the board is changed, and then after the board is changed, which it shouldn't be. Okay, and I just promised him to make a video and try to have a look. So TR1PDY, this is the video I was promising you to make. I'm not sure if this is gonna be really that helpful to you, but I'll do my best and literally anything I can. So here is the source code. This is the only CPP file. Well, I'm not good in C++, to be honest, but the code doesn't seem to be object oriented, so I hope, well, a part of this move class apparently, but well, I hope I will still can handle it. So I'll just go to the raw mode, grab the source code, and try to create a new document and just call it chess.cpp, and paste the code right in here and open the terminal in the current working directory. Now I'll try to compile and run it. So I need to say G++, as far as this is the C++ code. So I'm using G++ command on my Linux. If you're on Windows, well, if you're on Windows, this is a completely different story. Okay, so G++ chess.cpp -o chess, and if it compiles, I want to run the chess executable. Okay, so the very first thing to mention, guys, again, in this particular case, it was trivial to solve this sort of an error, but just for the future, I want to give you a general hint. If you want me to have a look at your code, please make sure that the sources that you're providing at least compile and run, because otherwise it's a little bit tricky to figure out what's wrong. And in this particular case, we don't have bits.h, which probably is being imported here. Okay, and if you just have a look at the source code here, within the link, we only had this main CPP file. So only main CPP. I don't see bits.h file. So this is the first issue. And fortunately I have some time, and it took some time to figure out to fix this on my own. But But again, like, it's better when you provide the working sources that at least could be compiled and run. Well, if you want me to do this, you need to make sure that the source code should be compiled and run using GCC GCC G++, because that's the compiler I'm using basically. Okay, so the most natural way of going here, I just get rid of this bits.h, try to compile and run again to see what in particular is missing. So it seems like this get bit, set bit, and all the bit manipulation stuff is not available. Also, I see that he's created this byte type. That's what I called U64 in my Bitboard CHESS Engine in C series. Okay, so first I just want to make sure that set bit and get bit functions are not available in the source code, or maybe they are, so let's have a look. Okay, so set bit is available, I see here, and the get bit is available as well. So probably the problem with this sort of a type. So let's try to provide a type here. So I want to say type def unsigned lon and byte like this. So let's have a look. Okay, fortunately now it finally compiles and runs. And what do we see here? So initial board state. Well, I don't really see the reason for using this color letter, so it's better to use like uppercase and lowercase. Well, that's at very least that's the de facto standard in chess programming. Well, I personally like to use Unicode characters to represent chess pieces, but anyway. And here is the board state after the search has been done according to the request. So let's have a look at the main functions. So some stuff that regards to time handling, some C++ method, probably calling some C++ specific. Chrono is probably a C++ library. I don't work with C++. I have no idea what this means, but probably assuming he calls this start. Yeah, and the runtime and duration. Yes, it's probably some sort of something to say like how long did it take? Yeah. Okay, so init bitboards, it seems like, so let's inspect this one by one. Okay, init bitboards, it's not the code from my series. Init bitboards, it seems like, hold on a sec, yeah, it seems like that he is actually setting up initial chessboard position. So it seems like this board, pawn, rook, pawn, rook, knight, bishop, queen, king. Well, the order is a bit awkward to me, but anyway, empty, bitboard, occupied. Well, this already looks a bit awkward to me. Well, okay, guys. I just want to show you what makes me a little bit confused regarding this code and some sort of a, I don't know, probably I can call it beginner's mistakes. Okay, so let's also have a look at the generate moves function. So he said like he only generates moves for pawns. Yeah, it seems like so. Pawns, get single pawn pushes, get single pawn pushes. What about double pawn pushes? Sorry. Get legal moves. It doesn't seem to be the legal moves because I can't see where you're checking for whether king is being involved into a check or not. If you don't do this, it can't be called get legal moves. It should be called get pseudo legal moves, because those moves are considered to be pseudo legal, and the fact of whether the king is in check should be checked later on. At very least, if you suppose this like a code on Talk Chess, it would most likely get lots of hate there because of this inaccuracy in terms. Okay. So get bishop, get rook. So here it seems like he's referencing some pre-calculated attack tables at some point. Well, it wasn't really the question, but the very first thing I can say already, guys, is that without a move generator that it's very important. Please make sure to listen to this. So if you have a move generator that doesn't yet generate all the moves, and you're already trying to go for research, that's completely wrong, because there would be so many bugs in your chess engine that you will just go crazy while trying to fix them. And just I don't really want to demotivate somebody, but this sort of approach is wrong, because you just if you don't have a working move generator, it's very weird to deal with this NigaMax search. So I just want to have a look at the NigaMax search itself. Okay, so he has the quiescent search with commented make move and undo move for some reason, and for every capture. So probably this is just, well, it seems to me like a copy paste from the chess program in Wikipedia. I know that because I was doing that many times before. Yeah, so probably it's just a placeholder template. So later on, make sure to call quiescence. But well, probably he wants just to return evaluate directly. Well, we don't care about the evaluate at the moment. Okay, what is this? Is game over? Is game over? Control F G. Is game over? Oh, okay, this is it. Get single pawn pushes true. Well, I can hardly believe that the matter of having single pawn pushes on the board as moves to be treated as the game over state, because the game over state means that this might be either the checkmate or stalemate or insufficient material, or what else, or 50 move repetition or threefold repetition rule. So those are at least those conditions that I can recall from my memory instantly, those conditions to make sure that the game is over. I don't understand why this get single pawn pushes are done here. Okay, so anyway, let's another little thing that makes me a little bit confused. So he uses the best score here, which references us to the so-called fail-soft framework regarding alpha beta search, which means that the best score might have exceed the bounds, might have go beyond the bounds of alpha or beta. Okay, well, that's actually possible. Okay, and why do you call this alpha? Oh my god, where did you take this from? Usually people do like score equals and oh no, sorry, he got the score. Okay, I'm sorry. Score is better. Oh, okay, so yeah, it seems like a fail-soft framework. So score is greater than best score becomes the score, best move becomes the move from the move list. Okay, and alpha would be one with the, okay, yeah, well, probably, oh, what have I done? Sorry, probably this. Well, I'm not an expert in fail-soft framework. I've been doing only fail-hard framework, which doesn't have this best score, so it's hard for me to say anything. But anyway, the problem of the board state, the board position being malformed after the search means that it's not something wrong with the search as being claimed here in the initial question. So it says like, where was this? That's what I was mentioning actually. The problem is somewhere in the NigaMax function. Well, maybe there is a problem in the NigaMax function. Again, like, I'm not an expert on fail-soft framework. And again, I would suggest to use the fail-hard framework for it's more simple and straightforward, so without kind of best score. And the fail-hard, well, actually, we just go to the chess program Wikipedia and go into the alpha beta stuff here. Here is the basic snippet. Yeah, here is the basic NigaMax framework, the fail-hard one. Yeah, and this one is the fail-soft. So the difference is that this one has the best score variable and this one doesn't. So I really recommend to kickstart with this sort of implementation. It's easier and more straightforward. But anyway, anyway, if the board, so the idea is that obviously that the board position should be exactly the same as it was before making this sort of a search. So, well, I guess if you just, well, another issue here. So I don't see the reason to generate moves if you're doing this Nigamax search, because you wouldn't be generating moves anyway. So this probably just populates the move list. So, well, at very least, I don't really want to have that generate moves in the beginning. Score is not. Oh, well, okay. So let's just give some score placeholder just to make a compile run. Yeah. So the board is fine. So what makes the board going completely wrong is this. So okay. So it makes going it wrong. But again, like it's not a matter of search, it's the matter of making moves and unmaking moves. So how I would personally test that? Well, assuming that, well, let's actually have a look at the generate, not the generate, at the make move function and take back. Okay, so the very first thing to consider that so this code seems to be just moving the piece on the corresponding bit boards, and it's pointed to the board. I just don't understand, why do you use pointer to the board? Is board actually a global array, or oh, yeah, board is a global array of up to 12 bit boards. So the very first issue, again, like without getting deep into the code, I just want to say that if you want to manipulate your bit boards array with this board array, and every single element here is a single bit board. Well, it seems like the implementation from BBC like was in our tutorial. So the very first thing, I can't really see the reason for using the pointers. Why do you use the pointers? Well, maybe these guys. Well, I think this should be global as well. Yeah, all this are global, so no need to use the pointers there. So make move. Well, most likely this won't really fix the issue, because make move and unmake move are, I don't want to say that they're completely wrong. They're just really not enough. So at very least, what I can see, they seem to be moving the piece on the proper on the corresponding bit board. So kind of like setting on the new one and removing from the previous one. Okay. Also setting the bit on the empty bit board. Well, I don't understand the nature of this empty bit board. Occupied, and also I don't see that the bit boards for white pieces and for black pieces were updated. They are not updated, and that's at very least this won't allow you to generate slider piece moves, because those well, if at very least if they rely on, or hold on a sec. Yeah, actually no, slider pieces just need the general occupancy, or no. Yeah, slider pieces needs occupancy for whites and for blacks pieces to work properly. Yeah, and only both occupancies, it's not enough. So I'm just wondering, occupied. So you have them free, white, black, both. So occupied, Control F, occupied. So are you setting occupied white somewhere? No. Occupied black, also no. Only occupied both. Okay, occupied both, that's the only place. So at very least, this is the first stuff that would create fantastic difficulties in future. So only occupying this only updating the occupancy for both sides is not enough. So you need to keep track of white occupancies, all the bitboard with all the white pieces. So whatever the white piece is, you need to make sure that that would be a bit been set up on the specific index where the piece occurs from the white side, and the same for a black side as well. And it's too complicated, and most likely that would have been missed something if you try to incrementally update this occupancy. So at the very start, it's much easier to simply make a move, make all the stuff that you also need to make in make move. Like, I don't know, it's just better to reference my BBC tutorials for that reason. But anyway, it's better to rebuild occupancy from the current bitboard state, because otherwise the probability of making a mistake and malforming and crushing the entire move generator is kind of too big. So it's really a good idea to basically just make a loop over all the bitboards, just loop over all the bitboards within this board array, and then for every so if it's about the white piece, so if the piece is white, in that case you just bitwise or occupied white with a piece with the corresponding bitboard. In case if it's black, you respectively bitwise or with a black bitboard, and then you'll have occupancy white bitboard and occupancy black bitboard, and then you can bitwise or them all together, and that's how you obtain the occupied both. And all this stuff is explained in great details in my BBC Bitboard Chess Engine series in the videos that regards to make move functions. So there are lots of videos, and they explain this process in great details. Okay, so but the question was actually regarding the pawns. So yeah, first I just want to get rid of this. So what happens if you say this and symbol? So this is the address, not the variable itself, but the address of the variable. So here you're just working with a kind of like with the memory addresses, and not with the data that is available at those memory addresses. So well, I just don't really want to start the lecture about arrays and pointers in C, but board being an array, it's it functions as the list of pointers actually. So what you're trying to do by typing this sort of a symbol, it's already implicitly done, and assuming the array type of this board array. So that's one thing, the first thing to consider. Well, and this code seems to be updating the king square in case if the piece is the king. Okay, so that's fine. So the very first thing that would give an issue. So if capture any occurs on the chessboard, when you take the move back, it won't be handled correctly, because you're not gonna. This code is not gonna be restoring the capture. And again, like the reason why in my Bitboard CHESS Engine in C, I'm not doing the undo move function, because it's kind of too complicated, at least when you just kickstart with this stuff, to make sure that you restore the position correctly. So I'm just copying the board state for all the bitboards, occupancies, and all the variables that handle the board state. And then I'm just, when I take the move back, I just copy those, copy the position back from those copies. So this is the variation of so-called copy-make approach. A pretty dumb one, but it works, and at very least it gives a working move generator. So the very least that we can achieve with this sort of a code, we can only move pieces back and forth, and that shouldn't be a capture. So if it's not a capture, that shouldn't be working. But if it is a capture, say you moving back the piece that has captured another piece, so the piece that made a capture would be drawn back, but on the place where the captured piece was, it won't appear again, because here is no code for that sort of a purpose. Okay, let's try to compile and run. Oh my god, what have I done? Is this some C++ specific stuff? Invalid conversion. So is this the reason why I actually was using these pointers? Okay, let's have a look at this is getting even more strange, so just want to have a look what's kind of wrong. Set bit in initializing argument uint64 pointer. Come on, but the array element is pointer itself. So why this doesn't work? Hold on a sec. Why do we actually... Hold on a sec. Set bit. Oh my god. Yeah, I feel like... I don't know, I can't answer the question because I just want to write the entire source code, and that wouldn't be the answer for this question, but I already have a tutorial series on Bitboard CHESS ENGINE, so it's easier to reference to that sort of a series. Okay, just where is the instance? So why the pointer to the bitboard? Why the pointer? So let's try to examine this in separate, okay? So, okay, I can hardly believe I can do something with this sort of a code because I'm just going crazy when I see it, but I think that I can. Okay, do you have a print bitboard function? I'm just wondering. Print. Okay, you have a print bitboard function. Okay, print bitboard. Okay, so before all of this stuff kind of begins, let me just return 0 here. Okay. Okay, let me just make move. Okay, so the very first thing I want to initialize bitboards. Okay, so let's initialize the bitboards. And so print board. Okay, now let's print bitboard and board. So do you have the same names for pawns? Okay, so this is correct. Okay, this is correct. But how on earth does it work with those pointers? This is so weird. This is so weird. Okay. Let's actually say, so loop over bitboards. So for int piece equals to pawn. Well, I hope the piece encodings is just like in BBC. Piece is less equals than black king and piece plus plus. And I just want to print all the bitboards. Bitboard piece. Okay, so white pawns, white knights, white bishops, white rooks, well, white king, white queen, white king. Well, the bitboard seems to be quite pretty fine, but what confuses me the most is why on earth to use this memory address. We can just simply pass, or hold on a sec. Hold on a sec. Oh my god, guys, if you could ever imagine how difficult it is to delve someone else's code. Oh, so this is it. So it takes. Okay, guys, I just want to have a look. How did I do that? The way it's done here seems to be so complicated to me. I don't know. I think I was doing that much easier. Where's my BBC? Okay. Here. Control F, set bit. So I used just a macro, right? So I just took a particular bitboard. This is what I was working with this directly. So I have no idea why you didn't actually do the same. Well, first of all, bits are faster than the functions because from the compiler perspective, it's kind of like inline stuff. So you don't need to lose time putting the arguments on the stack, things like that, and returning back from the stack. So that's the matter of function call on the lower level. So what I do, well, okay, so it seems like you're just trying to make a pointer to the bitboard to manipulate its value. Well, okay, sorry. I need to take my words back. I want to say sorry for I was wrong. Yeah, actually, this is correct. So he wants to take the pointer to the particular bitboard. But again, this is totally pointless because the bitboard itself is the global variable. If you have a global variable, you don't need this. You don't need to send. What's the reason to send the argument of the function when you deal with a global variable? If the bitboards were enclosed within a class instance or something, that in that case that would be making perfect sense. But here, I just can't really see like what's the reason for doing that. But okay, that's the design kind of stuff, and I'm not about to be judging the design, even though I don't understand this, but anyway. Okay, so now let's go back to the make move. So, okay, so move.p, so probably move is a structure, and piece is an integer that is available within that structure. I think that should have been. And okay, and how do you initialize? Hold on a sec. How do you initialize the bitboards? By the constants. Okay, so in this case, I just want to make one more little experiment. So let's say, okay, so this stuff is clear to me. So let's say we have, let's get rid of this sprint board. So now it should be printing an empty board. Okay, so I just want to try it manually. So if I say set bit and pointer to board indexed by the white pawn, say, oh my god, it's so hard for me to take this. Okay, and let's say, do you have any? Yeah, at least you have the squares. Thank god you have the squares. Okay, so let's say on E2. Okay, let's have a look. Okay, white pawn on E2. Let's try E4. White pawn on E4, yeah, seems to be working. Let's say, I don't know, white knight on G1. Yeah, well, set bit seems to be working properly. Okay, pop bit. Does pop bit working properly? Seems to be so. Yeah, seems to be the pop bit is working. So, okay. So is this the depth in Nigamax? Yeah, the first parameter is the depth. Okay, let's check the make move again. So we just take what we have. So clearing the from square. So my theory is that before it comes to captures, this code should work. And let's actually go and try to check that out. Okay, so let's try to check that. So let's start with depth 1 and save. Okay, so this is fine. Well, probably I will demonstrate some sort of a debugging techniques here. So let's say when we make a move, we can print the board, and pause the input by this get character. And when we take back, let's try the same stuff here. Okay. Okay, so the very first strange thing here that okay, so it moves A1 to A2, but then it just skips. It's skipping the pawns. So I have no idea why this is happening, to be honest. So this is the very first strange thing. So at very least, so let's go to like so. So the very first issue with this mode generator is that okay, and he doesn't drop this pawn back. So he doesn't drop this pawn back. It's another issue. Yeah, this is so weird, and also it skips the pawns. Oh my god, this is all so wrong. This is all so wrong. So I don't even know where to start here. I mean, some alternatives to rewriting this engine from scratch. Okay, so okay, let's just a couple more tests just to summarize this. So at very least, let's say that move generator only generate pawn moves on a single pawn push, so only one square ahead. Let's assume that is fine, even though it's absolutely weird to test the search when even pawn moves are not generated properly. But let's just forget that, okay? But even in this case, every single pawn should be making a move, and not only just it just takes like them. It just skips the pawns in between for some reason. This is so weird. So this is the very first issue that we have. So oh my god, why the heck that might be happening? So let's go to generate moves. So while pawn moves, what is this? Square target. Oh my god, why do you call source target plus 8? So this is also wrong. So when we call this get first set bit, this should be this is known as the source square, and when you add in something to the source square, this is called target. So it should be like source equals to get first bit, and target equals source plus 8. So that's this variable naming is horrible, because it just it shuffles everything in understanding. So you would just, oh my god, this is so wrong. So really this should be called source, this should be called target, this should be called source as well. I'm not going to be touching this because yeah, just it doesn't make sense. I just want to, so at very least I can see the problem that okay, so let's print f source square of pawn. Chess is all about debugging, I swear, and I just don't, I can't use this variable. I'm sorry guys, I can't use that variable name. That's beyond my capabilities. I would rather use this directly. Get first set bit. Okay. And I want to convert this to coordinates. Square to chords. Copy. Why do you use camel case? Nobody using camel case in C programming language. Okay. So make move. No, sorry. Generate moves. Generate moves. Okay. So I just want to print the squares that are considered to be, excuse me, so you're not even taking oh sorry, okay, so A free, B free, are you kidding me? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. Oh my god. Oh my god, what is this? Okay, so probably, yeah. Probably I need to go to this get single pawn pushes. Man, what are you doing? Oh man, can I write a chess engine for you, just from scratch? Oh man, I just don't really want to say offensive words because I dream to monetize these videos one day, but I want to say so many words. Okay. Oh god. Okay, so oh my god, what the heck is this? Get single pawn pushes. Oh, you're trying to, oh man. So you're not using pre-calculated attack tables, so you're trying to generate moves on the fly. Well, at very least, if you're using bitboards, it's kind of almost totally pointless to generate the moves on lines, to generate the moves on the fly, because it would be as almost, well, maybe slightly faster than you're dealing with the array-based board representation. But it's much more complicated in terms of dealing with these bitboards. So all this horror that we come into when we deal with the bitboards is just, it's the price for getting a faster move generator. And to get a faster move generator, you need to use so-called pre-calculated attack tables. But hold on a sec. Probably he does use those pre-calculated attack tables. Oh, yeah. Sorry. I was wrong here. So yeah, it's just a matter of, for single pawn pushes. I think in BBC I'm doing the same. Yeah. I'm sorry. So I was wrong here. Sorry, I was wrong. Okay, so so this is just a matter of, so board bitwise end with empty. Oh my god. What the heck is this? Okay, instead of guessing, I'll try to put another debug in printf here. So okay, pawn moves, no, not here, pawn moves. So let's start printf. I guess the pawn moves is the bitboard type, right? So I can say print bitboard and pawn moves. Okay, is this the output? Oh, okay. It still prints the board in. It still prints the board in Nigamax search. Okay. And I just want to make sure that. Okay. So we don't print this. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So. My God. I don't know. I don't even know how to help when my mind is gonna explode now. Oh man. Get single pawn pushes. So you're trying to generate a bitboard containing all the target square bits being turned on that are generated from all the source square or what? Oh man. But why do you want to do that? This technique is used for slider or leaper pieces when there are many directions. At very least, it could have been used for pawn captures when there are at least two directions, left capture and right capture. But why on earth use this sort of a technique to this? I can't imagine how this can work even. So it's for white pieces, for black pieces. Oh man. What is even more strange is that okay, Veril is there on the third rank. Oh, this is the reason for shifting the target and source. Oh my god, is this? Yeah, now I understand why this is happening. So it tries to loop over. It tries to loop over these bits and then to reconstruct the from square by saying +8 to every index that has been obtained for a target square. Oh my god, what the heck? I just don't have enough English words to express what I feel inside when I see this. Okay, at very least, so yeah, it's clear regarding what these pawn moves actually are. So source target, get first set bit. So here it seems like Square type. What the heck is the square type? I can see the reason for using all of this complicated type-ins like here, when but the program logic that doesn't kind of work. Oh my god, it's beyond my Komakikin's understanding, to be honest. So what can I do? Get first bit. Get first bit. Okay, so it goes through, yeah, it just being called 2 times, as we've seen here. It's just being called 2 times, like here. So it's kind of go A free, B free, C free, and here the same just twice, happens twice. And this is the list of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is the list of 2 squares, of the target squares, okay, that the pawns are about to go eventually. Okay, but that doesn't still answer the question of why it skips why does it skip the pawns? If I just print the pair of from and to square, can I just use, oh sorry, can I just use this target and source? Can I just use this target and source? A2 to A3, B2 to B3, C2 to C3, D2 to D3. Well, quite pretty fun, strange, but yeah, but at the very least the moves seems to be generated correctly. Okay, so the moves are generated correctly. So popping the bit, stripping the least significant first bit from the pawn moves, I guess. Yes, also makes sense, obviously. So it should be, so the move list. Okay, so source, target, and piece is the pawn. Okay, so move list. Okay, let's go to the move list. So do you have the print move list? Okay, you have the print move list. Oh my god, I can't believe it. Okay, so let's have a look. In this case, let's have a look. So print board, generate moves. Here just return 0 and print move list. Okay, A2 to A3, B2 to B3, C2. Well, seems to be just fine. Okay, seems to be just fine. Print move list. Okay. Oh my god, why do you generate moves within the loop over the moves? Oh man, what are you doing? Why do you generate moves here? Man, you don't need to generate moves. What are you doing? Oh man, that probably resolves the entire issue. So my almost 1 hour probably of this video came up to commenting out the single line of code, I believe. Oh man. Okay, so let's get rid of this stuff. Let's get rid of this stuff. Save. Run. Oh my god, finally. Okay, finally it works. I can't believe my eyes. Okay, so man, what's the guy's name? TR1PDY. So I just answered your question now. That question that you've asked. I try to get my emotions away from here, trying to be a pro. So the problem why, well, I just want to test this with the 4 moves still. Hold on a sec. So it probably still doesn't resolve this stuff. So I just want to have a look at the eventual board state. Yeah, so at very least I did solve the first issue within this code, which is horribly wrong. So Nigamax, go into Nigamax. So the first thing, you don't really need to generate moves when you loop over the moves that you've already been generating. That's total nonsense. So you generate moves, this populates the move list, then you have a move list index as the range limit of indices to crawl through. So then you crawl through this range of indices and using the move list to index your move list, which is correct, right? But why on earth do you generate moves within this sort of a loop? It's total nonsense. You shouldn't ever be doing this. So just delete this line of code. This can't be right. Okay, at very least, this makes the moves correctly. Well, probably another issue. So another issue here is that for some reason, yeah, this is absolutely weird. I have no idea. Okay. Man. Nobody does write chess engine like this. Even noobs like me don't do this like so. Okay. Let's have a look at take back. Yeah, this sort of a code reminds me of my early attempts to write a chess engine in JavaScript. It's called undo move. Undo move. Okay, so set bit on the from, remove bit on the to. Oh my god, what the heck is this? Seems like trying to change the site, but site is not changed like this. You should use bitwise or x or equals. So what's the site to move? What's the site to move? Control F site. Do you have a site? Y to move. Okay, we call it bool y to move. Okay, it's not the best to have a variable name. It's better to call site to move. And yeah, Boolean type is okay. Okay, so let's go to white. Oh my god, no, make move. Make move. Every time I make a move, I want to make sure that I can see the proper, the particular site to move. So within the print board, it doesn't seem to be presenting any information like this. So I need to make it I need to make it by hand basically. So I can simply say printf and let's say side, and I hope decimal specifier would be okay, and white to move. It's gonna be working. Okay, and this is gonna be working really. And also the same stuff to here. Okay, so site to move. Well, I'm not sure which one you supposed to be true and which one to be false. So now now it's white to move, but it shows that it's black to move. So maybe they are just malformed. And again, like you see, like the pawns are moving, but the side is not getting changed. So that's another issue. Okay, so now in order to resolve this, well, I can't guarantee anything within this with this sort of a code, to be honest. But well, usually if you have 0 and 1 for side to move, this is done by XORing the variable with its previous version. So it's in other words, okay, it's just as I check this first, and then if it works, I'm gonna go for explanations. Oh my god, I can only guess why this doesn't work. Oh man, this is so weird. Not with this, bitwise OR and with 1. What am I doing? It still doesn't work. Okay, so let's go for some sort of simpler stuff. So let's go for depth 1. Okay, man. I just wanna recall my memory. So how I was doing this. Yeah, but it was ended with 1. XOR equals not bitwise ended, sorry, XOR equals 1. Okay. Again, like whatever I'm doing in this video, this won't really help to save this code. I just swear it's my conclusion basically. Just making this just to show you the debugging process and how to work with an issues that you're encountering within your chess engine during the development. And then by the end of this video, if I would ever be able to make something, I will then try to give some sort of a guidelines one should follow when actually creating a chess engine from scratch. Okay, so let's go to make move again. Okay. Okay. So what do we have? So we made a move. Okay. So now side is not changing. Okay, and we just done. Okay. So let's try to change the side. So we made a move. So side is not getting changed or what? Before 1, after 0. Then why on earth? Hold on a sec. Okay, just one more time. Before 1, after 0. Okay, take back. Okay, again, before 0, after 1. Before 1, after 0. Before 0, after 1. Okay, this seems to be just fine, but hold on a sec. I just can't get why. It's very strange why the side is not changing here. Does it change the side somewhere else? Why to move? Oh my god, no. Oh man. You're trying to change the... Oh man. You don't actually need this side here. It's only in Micromax type engines it makes sense to do like so, but that's a completely different story. Well, okay, at least can't understand anything here. Let's just get rid of this. What's the reason to give a variable as an argument when it's global already? It doesn't make any sense at all. True. What? And score. Okay, okay. And again, here it shouldn't be true if you pass in this. You need to say like why to move here, whatever variable, whatever value is there, if this sort of an implementation. Okay, now at least side changing seems to be a little bit more alive. Yeah. Sorry for environmental sounds, guys. That's my wife is cooking the dinner. Unfortunately, I can do nothing to that. Oh man. My god, finally the side is getting changed every time. Okay. And now I think I can go for a deeper sort of a depth here. Still nonsense. Okay. I didn't notice the black to move. Change back, change back, change back. Well, at least the side is changing. Okay, what has just happened? So this move had to be taken back. Total nonsense. What a weird stuff. Okay, let's try the depth too. You know, guys, the problem is that when you don't have any single part of code within the entire chess engine that you can 100% rely on, it's kind of like balancing on the rope that is within two skyscrapers. Okay, there are just two skyscrapers, the rope, and you just go and balancing. That's it. You don't have any flat surface to rely on here. Okay, so every response seems to be well. Okay. Now here the disaster. So here it should have picked up a different move, but for some reason it doesn't do so. Oh man, the only thing that I can say that on the high level we can say that was the matter of the damn Megamax search function, but this is not. This is just man, I just don't have enough English words to express myself. I'm sorry. Oh man, so character, alpha, beta, undo move. So it seems like it doesn't undo move when... And why the hell do you... Oh man, this is another. So... Nope. Undo move shouldn't take any arguments. I don't remember how exactly that should have been done, but... Oh my god, where to see this for... Okay, maybe in Wise. Maybe in Wise. Just don't remember. I never implemented take back function. Oh my god, where's my chess programming? Didactic engines. Wise. Source. Take move. Only position. Make move. Yeah, takes the move. So you say like make move should be taking the move, but take move actually should not be taking the move. And yeah, but they use here. So hold on a sec. Move. Okay, so move is taken from the history array here. Okay, again, I'm not an expert in this take back function, but the idea, I just try to provide the general idea. So the move that we are extracting as the source of this from and to square to deal with in order to move the piece back actually is not the move that we're looping over within our Nigamax search. So let's just take it back. Just I can't fix this because just try to explain why I can't fix this. Because the current implementation doesn't involve the history array. And I'm not going to be implementing that because all this code is so wrong that this won't really help it. But just try to point out maybe for those who are watching this video. So when we're taking the move back, we need not to take the move that we're iterating over within this loop, because this is the latest move. And it works only for those cases when it comes to like for a current iteration here, for a current iteration. And after this move is taken back, the next thing that should have happened here, we should take this pawn back and move another pawn, and then go for another iterations with for a black side. But this doesn't happen because we're using the move that was here that we just loop over. It's not going to work. We need the history move. We need the previous move, some sort of a move that was stored in regards to this sort of a position. So it's not the move from the latest iterations, from the latest iteration of the move list generated by the recent generate moves from the previous recursive call of the Nigamax function. So that's the reason why it doesn't work. Okay, and because of this, it then goes just for completely malformed stuff. It just the program is going crazy and it's not working. So we can take move. So this move is just the move of previously of the latest generated sequence of moves. While when we taken back from several depth iterations back, we need to take a proper move, and that's why in Wise Chess Engine by Blue Viva Software, he uses to extract the move. He's not passing the move to the take back function. He just extracts the move from the position history array. So he's storing this the move to the history. That's completely different implementation and story that which I'm not expert in. So I'm not going to be explaining how exactly this is working, but just to give you an idea that this move is not the move from recently generated moves. So this just can't work. So I think at very least regarding this source code, I've made anything I could. At very least, it just doesn't skip the moves like it was when this weird generate moves was within the loop of the moves, which is, oh my god, this is so wrong. So with this particular implementation, the only thing that we can make work, well, I can't call it properly, but at very least can make it as expected, is it will only have the depth 1, and within this depth 1 we can simply move pieces for a current given site back and forth and make sure that the site is changing. So that's kind of very important stuff to consider. And again, like to make them taken back recursively, you need this array of history moves. And as far as well, at this moment, this is all I could have done with this current given source code. And again, like I just wanted to show you an example of kind of absolutely 100% hopeless situation where source code would never be working. But I just wanted to show you, well, I really didn't succeed much in being calm and not caring about how weird it is. Sorry for my emotions here. Yeah, so unfortunately, I'm not a Buddha yet, but yeah, that's what we have. But at very least, I was trying to show how the debugging process should be going on, even in this like hopeless situations, because no matter what kind of situation you face, no matter how hopeless it is, this sort of a debugging at very least would be would help you to figure out what is the particular issue and where did you go wrong. And now at the very end of this video, I just want to quickly, I hope to make it very quickly, walk through the mistakes probably that were done in this sort of attempt to write a chess engine. So I'm not going to be diving into the particular code details and implementation because I'm not familiar with this, even though it seems like it mostly that mostly my BBC chess engine was reused here. But what I want to say for sure that, guys, when you're writing a chess engine, it's the matter of creating a single building blocks. You know, like let's say, I don't know, let's say a set bit function, right? So you need to make sure that you can rely on your set bit function 100%, that it would never fail you. Well, in case of set bit and get bit and pop bit functions, it seems like in this particular engine they're working properly. But then using this little bricks, you're starting building kind of bigger bricks. And the example of a bigger brick might be, let's say the function, I don't know, is square attacked. Okay, so just to answer the question whether the current given square is attacked by the current given side or not. So in order to do this, depending on whether you have the pre-calculated attack tables or if you don't have those pre-calculated attack tables, you would be either figuring that out by lookup or by calculating on the fly. So again, like, you need to make sure that your square attack function is working properly. Okay. Then when it comes to the generate moves, you never go for this for implementing a search algorithm before your move generator is working properly. This is so damn golden rule, because without this, you will never ever, I swear, you will never ever come up with a working chess engine if you just skip. You say like, okay, just move generator, just a proof of concept. I'll go for enigmatic search then. I just want to see how it plays. You won't see how it plays. You will see the code full of bugs. Then you will be crazy about it. Will never make it work because you're a human. You will go crazy first before you realize what's kind of going wrong there. So I hope this situation to help others to teach, to learn how not to proceed when you're creating your own chess engine. So if you're writing a move generator, you don't need a search. You first need to make sure that you implement. First, you need to implement the generation of the pseudo-legal moves. You don't really need to make them on board. So the make move and the take back functions are the functions that finishes the process of creating the move generator. So the matter of move generator is just to populate the move list with the moves which have the from square, to square, well, probably the piece to move, and also flags like whether this is the double pawn push, whether this is the capture, whether this is an in-peasant capture, whether this is a pawn promotion, whether this is a castling, and every time different type of moves occurring on the chessboard, it needs some additional specific actions to consider in order to keep the board state in the correct position and make sure that when you would be making moves back and forth, assuming the recursion, that everything that would be set up properly. And say you're capturing to the in-peasant square, then you're taking the move back, you need to restore your in-peasant square, and so on. So the reason why, so let's assume that you've created a working move generator. So only then you can proceed with testing this move generator by creating a perf test. You don't need the search first, because when you're running the search, especially with the alpha beta, you would be skipping some nodes for at the very least, and you don't really want to skip nodes when you're trying to debug your move generator. Instead, you need to go for brute force to compare the number of nodes being traversed in your engine with those numbers that are available out there in chess programming, Wikipedia, or wherever. So you just need to make sure that you traverse through the entire game tree properly. Otherwise, you have some mistakes in your move generator. So that's incredibly important thing to consider. And again, like when you just start in, make move is a very complicated function in itself. It's probably one of the most complicated functions in the entire chess engine. And take back function is also very complicated because in order to restore the board state, you need some additional variable, some storages, like the game history array, like in case of Vice by Blueface software, when you have some sort of source of an array where you can extract the move from. So it's kind of too complicated. I suggest to start with a so-called copy make approach. So you just make a move on a chessboard, and you make sure that if it's the double pawn push, you set the in-peasant square. If this is the in-peasant square, you take away the pawn that has been captured. If this is the promotion, you handle that appropriately as well, and so on and so on and so on. And then when it comes to taking the move back, you just try to copy the board state, all the variables that represent the board state, like side to move, the in-peasant square, king square, if you wanted to keep track of that as well. And then you just restore this back. And all this stuff is available in my Bitboard CHESS ENGINE C tutorials that you will now see in the on your screen at the end of this video, because those would be the suggestions of another videos to have a look at. And again, like when I was doing my Bitboard CHESS ENGINE in C series, it was intended to exactly show the process of how one should be proceeding while creating a chess engine, all the stages, one after another. We're building these blocks that we can rely on from the beginning, and then further and further on. So first, we're creating the logic to generate these pre-calculated attack tables, okay? Then we write in a move generator. And when we end up with a move generator, then we go in for perf testing. And when the perf test is passed, then we go in for a search, and so on and so forth. And that's like kind of it. So please never do like you've just seen in this code, when you have just a couple of moves in the move generator and then you're trying to go for the search. This is horribly wrong, which would never ever bring you to a successful state with your chess engine. So probably the very last thing that I can suggest to the guy requested this sort of a tutorial, I forgot his name again, so TR1PDY. Man, I'm sorry, I never meant to offend you, and I don't say that you kind of bad guy or something. I'm just criticizing the approach criticizing the way you approach to write in a chess engine, not because this is bad, but because you will never ever get a success with this sort of an approach. So you just need to make sure that when you write in some piece of code, especially when it comes to when it deals with the chess programming, you need to make sure that you've created a building block that you can 100% rely on, that it's working properly and perfectly well, and you can do really lots of tests to make sure that this kind of block is working, because later on you won't even be available to understand like what is going wrong. Like just let's give a particular example. So here we have this enigmax function. So the first issue, there was no need to pass this side to move as an argument, okay? The second issue, when it comes to the make move and the take back functions, it was totally wrong in regards to changing the side. So this should have been tested as well, okay? And so on and so forth. So again, like I was criticizing some parts of the code that probably were not actually the issues, but anyway, another general approach. So you just try to understand, so what's the reason for giving arguments to the functions? It's all the matter of encapsulation. So if you have a global variable, you don't really need to use the argument in order to work with that global variable, because that is global. The global means you can reference that variable and change that variable from whatever place of its source code, okay? And if you have an encapsulated variable within, say, a structure or a class field or something, in that case, you obviously need to send the reference to that sort of a variable as an argument, and then you can work with that, and then you can change it. So that's why people invented this arguments to the functions, okay? But with the global variables, it doesn't make any sense at all. You just overcomplicated things, and this overcomplications moves you away from understanding the very gist. So, well, I don't really want to be mentoring that much, but I really suggest you to simply, you just try to follow the Bitboard Chess Engine in C tutorial up to when the move generator is finished and perf test has been passed correctly. And well, just to make it a bit more interesting, like what I was doing, what I was initially following Chess Engine in C series by Richard Albert, also known as Bluefield Software, I was just renaming the variable names, just to make sure that I understand the interactions of those variables. You can just follow these tutorials, but just changing the variable names. Okay, you can use this camel case for naming the variables. It's fine. It's totally wrong, but it's fine because it's something you're just trying to make the code looks like it's your own code. This is totally fine. Also, commanding lines is also good because you better understand what you're doing in your source code. Because I swear, if you have a look at this source code in a year, you can hardly understand what the hell is going on in this code. Because when I'm looking at even in my commanding code of 1 year ago age, I can hardly understand what the heck I was doing in that source code. So giving a commentaries also helps to help the future version of you when you drop back to that code and try to figure out what you were actually doing there. And when you realize how the move generator works, you can then try this sort of an experiment again. And again, like if you want to use C++, if you want to go for object-oriented way, if you want to encapsulate things, the very first thing you need to do, you don't need to create a global board instance. You need to create a board class that would be encapsulating the board position, side to move, and peasant square, and all this stuff. And then you would be use all these functions with the arguments, and these arguments would be referencing your inner class fields, and that would allow you to manipulate those values. And that's why the object-oriented that's how the object-oriented approach works. Well, at least in general. And in that case, you can already use my code as the basis, and then you just try to rewrite this in the object-oriented approach. You can replace my setBit, getBit macros like you did. It would be slower, but forget that. It doesn't matter. It would be slower. You just make it on your own. This is fine. So you just make it like on your own. But again, you need to have a working code. When you have a working code, then you can change the layout, the style. You can encapsulate the data. You can add all of these references, function arguments. to manipulate them, to manipulate the variables that are not available globally. That's totally fine. But if you're confused with all this object-oriented stuff that I've just said, you just better drop it at all. And if you don't have that great experience in programming, you just better drop that at all completely and just try to go for the global variables stuff like I did in my tutorial, because that's far easier to focus on the chess programming principles themselves. Because like there are two major issues with chess programming. So the first major issue is the chess programming itself, because it's not really that trivial to get all that logic that relies behind, say the mode generator. It took me 3 years to write my very first bug-free mode generator, believe it or not. And my early experience was very similar to what you're doing now, so this is totally fine. But another issue is how to make it using so-called best practices in C or whatever programming language of your choice. So when you're trying to, splitting the source into many source files, trying to wrap the board, the bitboards and variables represent the board state into a class, that's another challenge. So you just don't mix them when you're not clear about every single approach in separate. So if you're 100% sure that you've mastered the object-oriented approach, let's say file split and all this stuff, in this case, you can go for that. If you're 100% sure that you've mastered how the mode generator works, you can go for that as well and alter it. And if you make sure that you understand both how the mode generator works and how to use this object-oriented approach, then you can mix them together, but no earlier, because it would be you would end up like in this example, you would just be totally confused and even have no idea where the issue is coming from. Okay, and nobody would ever help you with this, because they would say like, your code is crap, you just rewrite it from scratch and that's it. I understand that I'm saying the same stuff, but I just don't really want to offend you or something. Just try to point out the what's kind of going wrong here. It's fine when you're learning to make this sort of mistakes. I was doing this mistakes as well, so it's totally fine. But just try to point out the proper way of doing things. So first, you just try to focus on chess programming. You just try to make a bug-free mode generator by following the tutorial series. And then you can learn this object-oriented stuff. You can change my code to make it object-oriented, to encapsulate the board state. So I'm just repeating this for the 10th time in a row. I understand, but still. And then it's gonna be kind of free. And you need to debug every single little piece of code you've just written, even though if you're 100% sure, like you know how it works, you need to check that out. Because what do you think and what happens within the compiler is two different worlds usually. And there is a joke that if your source code doesn't produce an error, that means that there is an error in the compiler. That's the joke from C programmers. Okay guys, so I think this is it from my side. I tried to, sorry for such a passionate speech, but I just feel like the guys in the situation where I was back in those days, and I really appreciate the attempt to write a chess engine and going for this complicated bitboard approach. And this is really cool, but going this way would never ever lead to success, and I'm just trying to point out how to approach in order to get to the success. And one last thing that I want to mention, so when you don't understand how the mode generator works, it's better not to start with this Bitboard chess engine in C series, but instead try to pick up somewhat much more simpler. So I have a playlist. That is called Hexadecimal 88 Mode Generator. So it starts from scratch. This is my very initial tutorial on this chess programming channel. I'm sorry for this weird names for the videos, because they're intended just to gather more subscribers from YouTube, but they all are set in order. So you just ignore the names and you just follow every single video one by one. And at the very end, you'll have the working mode generator based on the hexadecimal 88 system, the simplest mode generator possible, basically. It's also uses the copy make approach and so on. And then I just made a simple chess engine based on this sort of a mode generator. So if you don't understand how all the details behind the mode generator, if this is your very first chess engine, you really should go for this hexadecimal 88 mode generator tutorial series, and then you can switch back to Bitboard Chess Engine and see when it comes to implemented search. It's a bit different, but that's still that's possible basically. So again, like, just make sure you walk through the basics first, and then go into this more complicated bitboards, because if you don't understand these basics, it would be incredibly difficult to come up with a working engine. Okay guys, so now I think this is really it from my side. Again, I'm sorry for my passionate speech, but I just really try to motivate you not to give up and just try to pick up the proper way of approaching. Code Man Kicking was with you guys. Hope to see you in the next videos. Until that time, and take care.